Every time an Apple event draws near, there's a familiar feeling that spreads across the Apple community. Fans begin to wonder if this will finally be the year the long-rumored Apple TV 4K refresh makes an appearance. Rumor sites light up, predictions flood YouTube, and speculation grows. Enthusiasts convince themselves that Apple is about to give its dedicated streaming device the spotlight. Then, as the keynote unfolds, Tim Cook takes the stage. iPhones receive their annual refresh. The Apple Watch sees another evolution. AirPods get tweaks and new sensors. Sometimes there's a surprise one more thing. Yet, year after year, the Apple TV box remains absent from the lineup. This cycle has repeated so many times that it has become a running joke in the Apple ecosystem. The most recent Apple event of 2025 was no different. The keynote delivered headline-grabbing products such as the iPhone 17 series, including the futuristic iPhone 17 Air, and the new AirPods Pro 3 with redesigned hardware and built-in health sensors. But for those waiting on news of the Apple TV 4K, there was silence once again. No teaser, no hints, no roadmap, not even a passing acknowledgement of the product's existence. So the big question remains, why is Apple delaying a refresh of its streaming box, and when can we realistically expect it? The growing gap and fan frustration's last major refresh of the Apple TV 4K happened in 2022. At the time, it was a well-received update. Apple added HDR10+ support, boosted efficiency, and powered the device with the A15 Bionic chip. For a streaming box, it was impressive. The A15 had already proven itself in the iPhone 13, and its inclusion meant the Apple TV could handle apps, games, and high-quality streaming without breaking a sweat. But fast forward to 2025, and the A15 Bionic is showing its age. Apple's latest iPhones are now running the A17 Pro, a chip that leaves the A15 in the dust in terms of performance and capabilities. That matters because Apple Intelligence, the company's new AI-driven platform, is now a central part of its ecosystem. This intelligence layer is deeply integrated across iPhone, iPad, and Mac, shaping how users interact with devices, manage their digital lives, and discover new content. The Apple TV 4K is stuck on old silicon, simply can't support these features. That leaves Apple's streaming box feeling outdated, not because it has become unreliable, but because it is missing the core technology that defines Apple's current vision of the future. Competitors aren't standing still while Apple sits on the sidelines. Competitors are rapidly evolving. Samsung has embedded Vision AI directly into its 2025 smart TVs. These sets not only deliver adaptive content recommendations but also automatically tune picture settings based on the environment. Google's latest iteration of Google TV has been boosted by Gemini AI, making searches faster and recommendations smarter. Amazon's Fire TV Stick 4K Max has leveled up with Alexa AI enhancements, advanced video upscaling, and immersive Dolby Atmos Plus vision. Even NVIDIA's Shield TV Pro, a longtime favorite among home theater enthusiasts, remains a benchmark for upscaling and performance. Against this backdrop, Apple TV 4K's 2022 model still works well but now looks like an artifact from a pre-AI era. The lack of AI-powered features, combined with aging hardware, puts it at a disadvantage in a market where rivals are leaning into intelligence-driven enhancements. Why Apple might be delaying? There are several possible reasons Apple hasn't launched a refreshed Apple TV yet. First, Apple TV 4K intelligence integration may not be ready for the living room. Apple has presented its new AI assistant as more than just a smarter Siri. It's designed to understand context, anticipate needs, and personalize user experiences. On an iPhone or Mac, that role is clear. But how should AI function on a streaming device? Should it simply recommend shows? Or should it go further by adjusting sound to suit the listener's hearing profile, adapting picture settings to match room lighting, and syncing seamlessly with Apple Vision headsets? Apple likely wants to get this right before releasing a new model. Second, Apple TV 4K's 2025 product roadmap is already crowded. With the launch of the iPhone 17 lineup, Apple Watch Ultra 3, MacBook Air with the M5 chip, and Apple Vision Pro 2, the Apple TV might not rank as a top priority. Apple tends to focus its resources where they can make the biggest splash, and a streaming box refresh may not move the needle as much as other categories. Finally, the current Apple TV 4K still sells well. Despite being 3 years old, it continues to dominate in customer satisfaction surveys. Reviewers often praise its reliability, app support, and integration with the wider Apple ecosystem. From Apple's perspective, if the product is still performing well and meeting customer needs, there may not be a pressing reason to release something new. What a next-generation Apple TV needs. Whenever Apple does decide to release the next Apple TV 4K, it will need to deliver meaningful upgrades to compete. Here are some of the most critical areas for improvement. 1. A modern processor. The current A15 Bionic is outdated. An upgrade to at least A17 Bionic, or better yet the A18 or A19, would dramatically improve responsiveness, enable Apple Intelligence, and extend the lifespan of the device. 2. Enhanced picture quality. With 8K televisions becoming more mainstream, even if only in upscale mode, the next Apple TV should be ready for that future. Improved HDR handling and dynamic visual adjustments would make it competitive with Samsung's AI-powered features and NVIDIA's advanced upscaling. 3. Immersive audio upgrades. Dolby Atmos is great, but Apple TV 4K could expand on it with features like personalized audio tuning, spatial audio integration with AirPods Pro 3, and dynamic EQ adjustments that automatically adapt to different content types. 4. Deep Apple Intelligence integration. This would be the biggest differentiator. The new Apple TV could move beyond being a simple box for streaming apps. It could recommend shows based on your mood or the time of day, sync watch lists across devices, auto-adjust captions and audio for accessibility, and act as a true AI-powered hub for the living room. 5. Gaming improvements. Apple Arcade continues to grow, but gaming on Apple TV has never fully taken off. A stronger processor and better GPU support could finally position the device as a casual gaming console, especially if Apple follows through on its patents for a dedicated gaming controller. Apple TV versus rivals in 2025. Comparing Apple TV 4K's 2020 model to its 2025 competitors highlights how much ground needs to be made up. Google TV has smart integration with Gemini AI, delivering instant searches and sharp recommendations at a lower price point. Amazon's Fire TV Stick remains extremely affordable while offering Dolby Atmos Plus Vision and AI-driven Alexa voice controls. NVIDIA's Shield TV Pro is still a favorite for advanced users because of its unmatched video upscaling. Samsung Smart TVs eliminate the need for a streaming box entirely, thanks to built-in AI features and a vast ecosystem of apps. Where the Apple TV 4K continues to stand out is in ecosystem integration. For those deeply invested in Apple devices, the seamlessness remains unmatched. Handoff, AirPlay, iCloud syncing, and HomeKit integration make it more than just a streaming box. But without hardware and AI upgrades, it risks becoming a product that appeals only to loyalists rather than standing out as the best streaming option overall. When might it finally launch? Looking at Apple TV 4K's release patterns, the most realistic windows are late 2025 or early 2026. A holiday 2025 release would make sense, particularly if Apple TV 4K wants to position the new device as a centerpiece for family entertainment during the buying season. But spring 2026 is more likely, because by then Apple Intelligence will be fully deployed across the iPhone, iPad, and Mac, allowing the Apple TV to join that wave in a polished and consistent way. Final thoughts for now. Fans of the Apple TV are left waiting once again. The 2022 model remains a reliable and polished device. For those within the Apple ecosystem, it is still arguably the best choice. Yet it is undeniably showing its age. Competing devices are racing ahead with AI-powered features, and Apple risks falling behind if it does not refresh soon. Apple TV 4K may be playing the long game. A simple processor bump would not feel exciting enough. To make the next Apple TV truly matter, Apple needs to redefine what a streaming hub can be in an AI-driven world. If it succeeds, the next Apple TV 4K could become more than a media player. It could be the smart centerpiece of the modern living room. Until then, patience is the only option for Apple fans who keep hoping each keynote will finally be the one.